before we get rolling, playing at the course. I don't know what type of squirrel it is, but I used to see them in Iowa. They're not normal squirrels. They're like darker. They're like the black squirrels, and they're huge. And they're just
squirrels?
And they just squat up so quick. I just don't trust them.
How'd you hit them?
I just don't trust them. Not bad. Chipped a lot better than I thought I was going to. The
Green's
team I was
fast.
with, I do got to give a shout out to the team I was with. Win, Bumpy, all those guys. They instantly subbed after about 2 holes to the show after we kind of got to hanging out. So, no, I played pretty good. It was just hot. It was so hot. And Mobile, again, I played ball down there. I know how hot it is. But I hadn't been down there in a while, Cone. It was hot.
What score won it? Was it minus
29 under.
Minus 20.
29 under. So it didn't matter if we played good.
I was watching people off the range. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, well, Brett Favre's over there warming up with like a, whatever that stick is that like gets you loose that people used to use in baseball. And I was like, well, yeah, it's probably going to be a long day, but it was a great time. Had a good time. The ACC drops its college football divisional format. We're going to sit down with former Patriots and LSU running back Kevin Faulk, and Kyrie Irving opts in to his $36.5 million player option with the Nets. I'm Jake Crane, and we're turning up.
On a Tuesday.
You know what time it is? Following in the Pac-12's footsteps and scrapping divisions after announcing the new scheduling format from 2023 to 2026. Each team has 3 permanent rivals and will rotate, with the other 10 teams being able to play each team home and away over a normal length of a career. This is the way that it should be. And when looking at the permanent rivals, nobody really got screwed over in the ACC because the league isn't deep enough to really bury somebody via schedule. It's basically been a one-team league with Clemson, but I will admit that other schools are starting to level up. Wake Forest, NC State, Miami, a couple others. And this decision made the most sense, which is why it continues to shock me that we see people make it. My question now is, why is the SEC leading from the back on this? I know that Texas and Oklahoma aren't in the conference yet, but they will be soon. So let's go ahead and approve a format to take place for the future. When the SEC does make this move, they need to follow exactly the format that the ACC did. The whole point of scheduling is to try and be as even as possible. That doesn't mean that every team has the strength of schedule, only that everybody plays everybody consistently. Some teams will have harder permanent rivals than others, which is natural. But remember, college football is cyclical. You have teams that will improve or get worse, and new teams will take the mantle from the teams that have been dominating. So it's playing the long game, not the short one. Now, the SEC does have a bigger challenge because it's a deeper league, but that should be viewed as a positive, not a negative. We're going to see new rivalries created, while others are maintained as much as we possibly can. And I never thought I would utter these words, but the SEC could learn something from these other conferences and needs to get back from leading to the front on situations like this. That's how you maintain your grip on dominance. So to everybody involved in the ACC in this decision, this is it. Just like Athletic Greens is it. But all right, Cone, Blaine, and I know we had Cole Kubik on here. We've had people on here that are like, no, I want the best games with the best matchups. But to me, that is not the point of scheduling. To me, that is not how you find out really who the best teams are or give every team the capability to be able to compete against everybody. We've seen, I think it's Georgia and A&M has played once since A&M came in the conference. There's other situations like that. But now we get to finally see it. And on your screen, you can see what the ACC, the scheduling model they just unveiled with the 3 primary opponents. And you look down there, everybody keeps talking about, well, NC State got Clemson and North Carolina. There's people that are upset about the Carolina schools not playing each other. People are talking about, oh, well, Florida State got Clemson and Miami. If I had to pick one school that got the worst of it, in my opinion, it's Duke.
Yeah.
You got to play Carolina, NC State, and Wake Forest.
That's the all North Carolina slate.
Dude, I know. Wake Forest is trending up. NC State, they're expecting huge things. We got an interview with Phillip Rivers we're going to drop later in the week talking about that. And then North Carolina, they've been what, Blaine? Been pretty what?
Pretty steady.
Yeah. Been pretty steady. But again, the ACC, you've really been one team dominant. So nobody really got screwed over here. But I love this. And I know people on Twitter have said, oh, but you win your division and you get to... Again, the whole point of scheduling and the best thing you can do is to have an opportunity to play every team while trying to maintain as many rivalries as you have. How do you think we got rivalries, Cone? Like, how do people think just rivalries, just all of a sudden the Tooth Fairy left the Auburn-Alabama rivalry under some kid's pillow in Aniana, Alabama? That's not how it works. We're going to see new rivalries created. That's what I'm excited about.
Well, now you can have a conference championship made up of the two best teams by win percentage, right? Not just one from the north, one from the south, or whatever theirs were called, coastal division or what have you. On your point about the SEC, though, I feel like the SEC less so leading from behind and more so didn't want to have to completely change the way they're doing divisions right now before Texas and Oklahoma.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. Like, this for the ACC is happening next year.
Yes, but see, don't you think, because Texas and Oklahoma aren't going to join until 2025, right? The SEC shouldn't completely restructure their format and then restructure again when Texas...
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is knowing that Texas, because we know they're coming. We know Texas and Oklahoma are coming into the league. So you know the amount of teams. You've got a pretty good idea you're adding that ninth conference game. So to me, you have the numbers to plug into the formula to have the format. We saw the Pac-12 the minute they were able to scrap divisions. The Big 12 had already done it. There's no divisions in the Big 12. Now we see the ACC do it. The SEC, to me, it's pointless to keep waiting. You know the amount of teams. You know the amount of conference games. Let's go ahead and get it sorted out. And you can take the same mathematical formula that you just took for them. Now, instead of the 10 teams outside of the 3 permanent rivals, you just bump it up with the amount of teams in the SEC. I just don't know why they're dragging their feet on this.
So you would rather them go ahead and do this next year, just like the ACC, and then have to redo it again?
No. I'm fine with them not doing it until Texas and Oklahoma are in the league, but announcing that they are doing it, saying we are going to go ahead and make this decision, because I don't believe it until I see them announce it.
Look, I trust Sankey. I trust him, and whatever he does, I believe in it. And I just can't wait to watch Georgia not just walk through the East. That's what I can't. Georgia has to play somebody. They got to play somebody.
Again, to me, I'm looking at it not in the prism of one team. I'm looking at it through the prism of all the teams, because when you're making this decision, you're not doing it for just Georgia. You're not just doing it for Alabama. You're not just doing it for Vanderbilt. You're doing it for every team playing in the conference. So to me, go ahead and get out in front of it, and they're going to announce it. It's going to change. We all know that. That's not some huge October surprise that we're going to get or anything like that. But to your question, that's the nuance of it, is waiting to actually put it in motion until Texas and Oklahoma are in there. But I think they could go ahead and announce it. But that's just my opinion. I want to go and just see it. I want to see it. I want to understand that they're going to do it. That's a me thing. What's the Booster Club say?
Devin21 says, doesn't the Pac-12 still have divisions?
I don't believe so. No, the Pac-12 scrapped it. You go back and look. The Pac-12 scrapped divisions right when the NCAA ruling went down. Cannot remember exactly the date.
All right, David Atkinson says, good move. He says divisions are pointless.
They are.
Will we see anything from the NFL?
But okay, here's when you look at the NFL and you look at college. In the NFL, you have your 32 teams, whatever. You have your AFC, you have your NFC. But look at the amount of games you play in the NFL. You play 16, 17 regular season games, 18 with a bye week. So you're playing more games. That's not a problem in the NFL because you're playing more games. In college, you're not playing as many games. So it's not as big of an issue. And in college, you are dealing with a lot more teams that are connected in one. You have 32 teams in the NFL. In college, right now we're about to have 16 in one of the Power 5 conferences.
You know what? Now that I think about it, actually, based on that question, these new permanent opponent matchups are NFL divisions. This is what it is. This permanent, this isn't so much as scrapping divisions as it's creating new smaller divisions. This is your permanent opponent.
Because if you create a smaller division, you can play more people from other places.
Exactly. So if you see that list we just pulled up with every team has 3 permanent opponents, which makes a division of 4? That's NFL divisions right there. But you're still going to play other people around the league, obviously.
Exactly. But again, I love the format, and I'm just a big fan of the true rotation. That's what I'm going to call it. A true rotation where you have your permanent rivals, and then you play everybody else on a rotating basis. Now, where you get into the weeds a little bit is when you're like 3 permanent rivals, 5 and 5, where you play them on consecutive years, kind of like what the ACC is doing. I like that as well, but again, there's more teams in the SEC than in the ACC, but I feel like you can use that same format.
All right, Timothy Brinson. Timothy, what's up? First time I've seen you in the chat. What's up, Timmy? How do you think this will affect Clemson's reign over the ACC?
When I think of Dabo and Clemson right now, it's like that part on Due Date where Robert Downey Jr. gets back in the car with Zach Galifianakis, and Zach Galifianakis looks at him and goes, well, never doing that again.
Underrated movie.
Very underrated movie. But Clemson, I don't look at the way Clemson's recruiting right now, number one. The month they've had has been ridiculous. I don't see Clemson really slowing down. Now, DJ at quarterback, they've got to find an answer at quarterback, but I trust with the amount of good quarterbacks that they've brought into Clemson. I mean, you look at Deshaun, you look at Trevor, I can go down the list. Taj Boyd, I can go down the list. I trust Clemson to be able to right the ship at quarterback, but they're bringing in good linemen, really good defensive players, and in the ACC, they've been an outlier because they built themselves like an SEC team. They have personnel in the front seven like an SEC team. Last year, Clemson versus Georgia, that matchup up front, that was a grown-ass man matchup up front, and that's how Clemson's been able to change. Now, there's a couple teams, if you look, that's why I'm so big on Miami, because Mario is going to do it the same way. They're about to get an on-campus stadium. They got the richest guy in Miami they're handing out NIL like Girl Scout cookies right now. Miami, to me, will get built like Clemson was built from the inside out because Mario knows that's the difference. And if there's anybody that's coming for Clemson, right now, if I was a Clemson fan, the only team I would really be worried about is Miami. Wake Forest, to me, it's hard to have longevity and success at Wake Forest in football. We haven't really seen it in the modern era. Florida State, that's a huge question with Mike Norvell. They're a huge unknown to me. But I'm looking at Miami as that team in the ACC. Van Dyke coming back, that kid can ball at quarterback. Yeah. And we know Miami, they've got more speed than a drug house right now.
Dabo's done a great job at Clemson, but he's benefited greatly from Miami and Florida State being down. How do those two programs look over the next 5 or 10 years? And Florida State's going to be a permanent opponent.
Yeah.
Not Miami, unfortunately, but Miami and Florida State will be permanent opponents, so at least we get that.
Exactly. And that's kind of where the some more nuance comes in. But again, you are going to see the minute you see the Giant get cut a little bit and you see him bleed like Drago on Rocky. They saw Clemson bleed a little bit last year. Miami makes the hire to bring Mario in. You're looking around the rest of the conference. What Sam Hartman and them, we're going to get into quarterbacks later, are doing at Wake Forest is really impressive. But I will continue to say the biggest threat, if I'm looking down the road, if I'm a Clemson fan right now, over the next 3 to 4 years, it's Miami. I'm telling you, it's Miami.
And do you keep the South Carolina game? That's your biggest rival, and it's out of conference.
I think they do.
And I think Shane Beamer's building a monster over there, or at least something that's not a walkover game anymore.
No, it won't be a walkover game like it was. But
all right, Jonathan Herndon, #Ask Crane and Company. How many out-of-conference games should there be?
To me, to me, that depends on how many teams are in your conference. I don't think you can have a blanket, this is how many out of conference every team's going to play. Like the SEC is going to have a 9-game conference schedule. Now, I guess in theory, you could try and make every conference the same, but I feel like that's diving too deep. That's digging too deep. I think if I'm an SEC team, I don't think it's as much about how many out-of-conference games that I'm playing. I got to fill a full schedule, but it's who I'm playing that this affects. Texas and Oklahoma coming over the SEC. If I'm a coach in the SEC or any conference where you're bringing over big dogs into our conference, I'm not playing in the Chick-fil-A Classic against a top 15 team week 1 when you're out in Texas and Oklahoma. You can give me a good group of 5 team, give a little bit of a test, I'm good with it. Here's my rule. No triple option, not doing it. And if you're going to add a 9th conference game or you're going to add better teams in my conference, I'm not playing this blockbuster game. I'm not playing Texas week 1. I don't care if it's at the Chick-fil-A Bowl, at the Coliseum, or in Narnia. I don't care. I'm not doing it. Now, Narnia, we may be able
That'd be pretty sweet.
Mr. Tumnus,
we hate to lose those home and homes. I mean, look at Penn State Auburn last year and this year.
Yeah, I know, but see, half the problem with the out-of-conference is they're not home and homes. They're neutral sites. It makes no sense. I get it. It's business. But to me, I would love if Alabama was playing Texas in Austin or in Tuscaloosa. Those environments are so much better. We worked at the College Football Hall of Fame. They had a game basically every weekend at the Georgia Dome with teams that weren't from there. I just don't like it. I feel like those big cities get enough. Like, Atlanta gets enough big games. Like, you have the Hawks and the Braves and the Falcons. Like, Oxford needs that. You know? I mean, Knoxville needs that. To me, it doesn't make sense.
Caleb Kirby, 2 things here. Caleb Kirby says UNC is a sleeper in the ACC if they get rid of their OC. I mean, look.
UNC?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know.
Look, they had a down year. They lost so much.
Yeah, but you just lost Sam Howell.
No, I'm saying even with Sam Howell last year, before the year, the team they were before that, they had studs all over the field.
You know, a lot of people
so much.
Well, a lot of people consider Longo a top 5.
I'm kind of big on Longo.
A lot of people are big on Phil Longo. You're not the only one. But I do want to get Kevin Faulk in here. You ready?
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it. All right, we had a great interview down at the Senior Bowl. It was an unbelievable time with Super Bowl champion, All-SEC, All-American running back Kevin Faulk. He talks about Brian Kelly. Remember, he was the running back coach there very recently. Let's roll that interview. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, we are excited to bring in Kevin Faulk, former LSU standout. Again, if you don't know who he is, just
welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. We're glad. Hope your your spaceship got here safe. Kevin, I want to say thanks for joining us. But I got to ask you, what does this mean to you? You know, coming back to the Senior Bowl. The Senior Bowl's offered so many opportunities. Now being able to come back, getting inducted. Just what does that mean to you?
You just said it a whole lot. There are so many guys that come through the Senior Bowl each and every year. So many talented guys, and to be one of the guys that's getting inducted to the Senior Bowl Hall of Fame, that's amazing. The Senior Bowl experience was another thing. Just the opportunity to, build relationship with guys that you played against and seen on TV that when you didn't play. So it's just the opportunity to build a relationship and moving forward. And we still have a lot of relationships built.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, a lot of great players came through here, so being inducted is obviously a big honor. I do want to pivot to LSU, though, just to ask you. Brian Kelly comes into LSU. Seems to me a guy that is accountable, that understands how to run a program. LSU's won national championship with the past 2 head coaches. How excited are you for Brian Kelly to get in there and really build that program and organize that program the way that he should be organized? Because we know LSU talented all day.
Well, as far as the program speaks for itself. Whoever you bring in there, the athlete that you bring in, they're going to take care of the program. Sure. And like you said, he's a guy that's a proven winner where every place he's gone. So let's see what's happening.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see. It's going to be interesting.
I want to go to the Patriots real quick. I mean, there's a lot of different type of coaches, right? You got some CEO types, you got X's and O's types. But playing for Bill Belichick, what was that like, and what kind of program really is run there, in terms of keeping a tight ship?
Accountability. Accountability for every little thing that goes on, not just on the football field, but for you in life as well. And that's one thing that goes unnoticed. Yeah, he's going to have his disciplinary stuff as far as football-wise, but when it comes to off the field, he does what he has to do, with the guys, and guys respect that.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like the type of guys who respond well to that are able to thrive in that sort of environment.
Again, it's the guys you bring in, and that's another thing with the program. It seems like when a guy leaves, they try to bring in that exact same guy to mimic that guy, or a guy that has that same personality. May not have that same talent, but has that same personality that's going to bring something to the team.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think about it in football. I just wanted to ask you this question. What lessons did you learn in football, that really in life helps you out a lot?
Patience, discipline. And like you say, the little things. Pay attention to all the little things, because at the end of the day, those little things go equal up to something big.
Yeah, let's go back to your college, your great college career, great NFL career. Is there a certain memory that sticks out to you because I know you probably have a lot of them, but is there a certain one that kind of sticks out?
You said that there's a bunch of memories, and the crazy thing is still making memories.
Yeah.
Still creating those memories, and that's just the blessing of what has been going through my life. And I thank God for that, just to have opportunity to still have those blessings coming and going forward.
Yeah.
Now, my last question, Kevin, for you. Playing running back, playing the position that you played, you look at the way offenses are run nowadays and what you're expected to do, block, catching. Not that you weren't expected before, but the offense have kind of evolved in the way they use the running back in the passing game. When you look at these offenses and you look at these running backs, you look at a guy like Najee Harris that goes back to school to improve his blocking and route running. Is being a complete back the absolute epitome of playing that position, even though nowadays they kind of have guys that do this and guys that do that and guys that go on third down? Are we starting to not see the complete back anymore?
Well, we better start seeing a complete back, and that guy better start understanding that he has to be a complete back. because our value is starting to be downgraded. If you can only do one or two things and you can't do a third thing, they're probably going to look at another guy that, you know, they're probably going to pay a little less. Just the game, just playing the game. Politics in football, that's all it is.
It's true. It's everywhere. Well, Kevin, it's an honor having you on. Loved watching you play. You're a hell of a player. Congratulations on all the success in the induction, man.
Appreciate
you deserve
y'all,
it.
man.
Interested to see how Brian Kelly does this year at your alma mater. Yes, sir. We appreciate having you.
Yes, sir.
I do real quick. Funny Kevin Faulk story. We get done with the interviews at the ceremony, at the reception, going back to hang out, have a few cold sodas with some of the guys that are there. Go up to the bar, order a drink, and sitting down next to me is Kevin Faulk right there. Had a drink and got a sour apple lollipop in.
I love it.
By himself. I sat down and talked to him about 15 minutes. Just a really good guy.
Where do you get the lollipop from? I didn't see any lollipops out there.
No, look,
I'm kind of upset now.
It's Kevin Faulk.
He's going to get one. He
wants
probably
a
brought a
lollipop.
bag.
He's probably going to find one.
I'm not to that level yet, I guess.
But, you know, Cone, this is something that kind of sparked a question that you were bringing up a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, which team do you think will be back to prominence first? LSU or the New England Patriots, given that he was so great for both teams?
Yeah. I would say LSU just because I look at the division the Patriots in. I think the Bills are going to run that thing like Usain Bolt for a while. Not that doesn't mean the Patriots can't get in the playoffs and make a run. But again, took away the greatest quarterback of all time when in my opinion, when you look at the rings. And Mac Jones is going to be good, but they don't have the weapons around him right now. I know in the NFL through free agency and then the draft, you got guys that can come in and make an impact quickly. But I think Brian Kelly going to LSU, I will say what I have said, and I will continue to say this about Brian Kelly. And if anybody else says it, remember, I was the one who said it first. Brian Kelly is the stepdad that LSU didn't want, but they needed to have, okay? I'm not saying LSU fans didn't want him, but he's like, if you're a kid, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you get a stepdad and you're like, man, this guy's making me clean my room. He's making me hang out with different friends that, you know, maybe not be that bad of an influence on me. He's making me mow the lawn. And you hate him until you walk across the stage and graduate cum laude from Harvard and you got a real big cushy job at Goldman Sachs waiting on you. That's when Brian Kelly comes through. Yeah. And if Edo can win one and Les Miles, who I don't know if he ate more grass or smoked more grass at LSU, can win one, then it almost scares me if you give Brian Kelly, who is a program builder, he is a architect from the Matrix style builder of a program that understands it, when you give him the freaks that LSU has, that it's organized and accountable, that's scary. So I'm going to go LSU.
I'd go LSU. I mean,
going LSU.
Yeah, LSU has athletes just walking around.
Yeah,
everywhere. It doesn't matter. They just need a quarterback. I always said the scariest thing in college football is LSU with a good quarterback.
That's very true.
You saw what they had with Joe coming in. Obviously, that's Joe Burrow. You're not going to get that a lot. But a good quarterback and a head coach just won't mess it up. Just don't mess it up. Get everybody swimming in the right direction. If you get LSU players swimming in the right directions, you have almost the most talent in college football next to Bama and Georgia. They're a top 3.
Oh, they're right there.
You need a head coach who won't mess it up, and you need a good quarterback. And that, I think in the NFL, it's tougher to win games. It's tougher to win games in the NFL. The talent level is somewhat equal to a certain extent. I believe in Mac Jones. I believe Mac Jones will win a Super Bowl at some point in his career. I do. But I do think LSU can turn it around quicker. And what you said, Brian Kelly is a master builder. That's what he is. He's a master builder. His
name should be Bob.
And he can get everybody going in the right direction. Things will be organized. And there's nothing more dangerous than an LSU team that are all on the same page.
I do think the Bills are now the front runner in the AFC East, which feels weird to say.
Yeah,
but they are, and I think they will continue to be for some time. But I'm going to take the Patriots because I don't think Bill Belichick is done yet. And now Mac Jones has a couple years under his belt. And you want to talk about having really great teams in your division. I mean, LSU still has Alabama. They have Texas A&M coming on strong. Arkansas is getting better and better. Lane Kiffin's still doing great at Ole Miss and is going to continue to do great. So I think both teams, both programs, both institutions are going to return to prominence fairly quickly. I think I'll take the Patriots first.
I can understand where you're coming from, but I'm just sitting here wondering who needs weapons worse to surround them, Mac Jones or Ukraine, and I'm really starting to think it's Ukraine.
Well, what's worried about me with the Patriots is their defense just hasn't been the same.
And that's weird for Belichick.
With the Belichick defense, like that's a staple. Like Tom, you go back and look at Tom's Super Bowls, his big playoff runs, and Tom did what Tom had to do. He's a great quarterback, probably the best ever. But most of those defenses were top 10 defenses.
The first 3 Super Bowls especially.
Yeah, they were top 10 defenses in the NFL. and they were not a top 10 defense.
Yeah, well, the Patriots were a complete team. They'd beat you as a complete team. They'd beat you on offense, defense, and special teams together, really on the old school mindset of we're going to make you lose the game. Because most teams lose games, they don't win them. But I do love this topic, and I want to dive into it as we keep going on. But a little rapid fire?
Let's do it. Let's talk,
Let's get rapid.
Let's talk a little NBA because your boy Kyrie Irving has opted into his $36.5 million player option. Could be a free agent next summer, but looks like he will be in Brooklyn this season, and he will not be in LA.
To me, this is the same situation that Scott Frost is in. Okay?
1 year.
You got 1 year to do it.
That's true.
It's championship or bust. You got 1 year to do it.
Championship or bust.
It's championship or bust, buddy. You got Ben Simmons, who supposedly now that no games are being played is healthy. Now he's healthy. He's doing well. All this other stuff. I don't believe it's as bad as what people are saying. I won't believe it's as bad. You got Kevin Durant, who's from some star system, half a universe over. You have to hang out with Bob Lazar to even find where he came from. So it's championship or bust for
not even
the
the
Nets.
East. Not even winning the East.
If they don't win it,
not good enough.
if they don't win it, Kyrie will not be with the Nets. He won't be with the Nets after next year.
I don't think so.
This is a 1 year thing. This is a 1 year. We better win it, fellas. Everybody look at everybody. It's honesty hour. You look at him. He said, all right, I'm opted in for 1 more year. And let's not act like he had a ton of leverage. To me, like I said the other day, the biggest leverage that Kyrie had was not screwing up the KD situation with the Nets because they're tied together. They're brothers, whatever. Like they came out and said, that's my brother, whatever. Like they're a tag team or a tandem. But again, I'm not shocked by this, but you better win it, Nets. You better win it.
I think if they do win first of all, I think Kyrie should have went to the Lakers, in my opinion.
But he's not taking a $30 million pay cut.
That's true, but I mean, he would have got paid. It doesn't matter. He would have got paid for sure, but Russell ends up staying. But the thing about it is I think if they win the East side, he'll stay. I think right now, you're going to get to a Warriors team that's only getting better. They're only going to get better. I would not frown upon an NBA team for not beating the Warriors. That's not an unsuccessful.
I think
that's not an unsuccessful season to me. If you win the East against a Boston Celtics team that is only getting better, who you picked to win the finals, you win the East and lose to the Warriors in 7.
Why?
That's not a failure to me. I wouldn't just pack my stuff up and leave.
Well, if Kyrie was in his first or second or even third year, I'd agree with you. But Kyrie's not out here to win the East. Kyrie's not going from coast to coast to win the conference. He's already won an NBA championship with LeBron. He's won it. He's been there. He could care less about the other stuff. I guarantee Kyrie probably cares more about winning an MVP than he does about the East. But the thing he cares about the most is winning an NBA championship. That's what he wants. For these guys, it's either that or it's not. And for all the hype with Kyrie going to the Nets, with KD and all that stuff, if they're just saying we're good with winning the East, then boy, are they letting a lot of Nets fans down.
Well, even beyond the winning or the losing, don't you think that what the Nets want to see from Kyrie Irving the most is stability and reliability?
Yes.
So if he goes a full season this next year and he is reliable, everything appears stable, they win the East. You're talking about Boston. I'm thinking Milwaukee too. Let's say they get by all of them, both them, Miami as well. A lot of good teams in the East. Let's say they crack that code and they do go losing 7-2. You're saying the Warriors could be the Suns, could Memphis Grizzlies coming on strong? If they do that, but Kyrie Irving has shown reliability, do you think then that they give him a max deal, right? Keep the experiment at least appears that it's working. The experiment included James Harden at first, who's now gone. For them to do that, Ben Simmons is going to have to do something, right? I keep thinking the guy's already retired, but you believe in him.
Is he a prima donna? Yes. Okay, he is. Do you trust him? No. But let's go back to Ben Simmons on the basketball court. He is a defensive.
You roasted this dude.
I did roast this dude.
You'd never believe in him again.
No, believe in as in what he's saying, but I believe in his skills on the basketball court. He's a phenomenal basketball player. All-star, defensive player of the year, I believe. This guy can, what were the Nets missing? What were they missing?
Defense.
And this guy can play defense. He's an all-star. Ben Simmons is good at basketball, very good. Now, is he softer than Sharman? Yeah, he is. Can you trust him? No. But if he gets on the basketball court, all right, and he plays basketball, they have a chance to win a championship. You have 3 all-stars on the same team.
Please, Jake.
Okay, well, again, and I'm not saying what you're saying is not logical, but you looked at that camera and said, Ben Simmons, I'll never believe in you again, that you show more effort playing video games, jumping around. How's your back hurt?
I'm talking about on the basketball court.
Yeah, but it's hard to be phenomenal when you said, two things? You're soft. Even you threw in an analogy.
And you're a defensive guy.
It's hard to be phenomenal on the court if you're soft and you have...
I think a lot of basketball players are prima donna and soft, but they get on the basketball court and are phenomenal.
I think prima donna and softness are two different things, but I see what track you're going.
Yeah, no, again, what you're saying is logical. I agree with you with the premise of what you're saying. But again, the word that Cone said, and what's the word we've used around the Nets? Stability. There's been no stability. From Kyrie having to be out with the mandates, from the KD situation, having the injuries, not on the court at the same time. James Harden's gone. Now Ben Simmons is in. Ben's feelings are hurt also, so his back's hurt as well. So again, no stability. The Nets need stability. But if you want stability and you want to watch or listen to the rest of the show, head over to dailywire.com, become a member, or listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with your friends. We have a huge second half. We're going to have the audio on here, top 5 college quarterbacks, and some more rapid fire, and then we're going to make our picks. It's coming down to the end of the month in betting. We'll be right back. As you know, Blaine curates the chat. He's also known as Flaming Dragon on Fridays.
What's up?
What's the chat saying?
Let's talk about it. Mike says there are stars that can wreck a team, and Simmons is one of them, just like James Harden.
Yes. Richard Simmons, motivated. Ben Simmons, boring.
What about James Harden? You believed in James Harden?
Yeah, I still somewhat believe in James Harden. I'd take James Harden over Ben Simmons. At least James Harden's out there playing. Maybe missing.
Barely.
He may be missing.
Barely.
He may be missing, but
yeah,
he's still playing.
All right, Howard DeTruth says, do y'all think Westbrook is motivated enough to go off next season with all the trash everybody's talking about him?
Okay.
Good one.
Okay. Here's my thing.
Okay.
Russ, I don't think you can have the style of player that Russell Westbrook is with LeBron James on the court. They are too ball dominant. Russell Westbrook used to almost get a triple-double every game because he handled the ball more than anybody on the court. That is a hard cake to slice with Russell and LeBron, and then you get AD back, having to share the ball like that. I don't see this experiment working. Now you just opted in for another $47 million, which it is what it is at this point for the Lakers. But again, Russell Westbrook and LeBron James playing together is like oil and water, and not because of personality. And that... If you'd have blindfolded me a year ago and said, Jake, LeBron and Russell Westbrook will not work out, tell me why. You know what I'd have said? Personality. Something would have happened. Russ not getting his shots, not getting his looks, whatever. It wouldn't have been this. Okay. But what showed up to me is the style that Russell Westbrook plays and the style that LeBron James plays does not jive. You look at the way that LeBron played with Kyrie. Kyrie could facilitate through LeBron. Russell Westbrook is not a facilitator.
Or even Rondo, right?
Rondo's
point guard
perfect.
When the Lakers won the championship.
You know who'd be another perfect one? Kyle Lowry. Guys like that. That's what you need, not Westbrook. If it was just Westbrook, the Lakers would be better. As crazy as this is going to sound,
okay,
the Lakers would be better if they just had Westbrook or just had LeBron. As crazy as that sounds, I really think they would have more success if it was either just Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis or if it was LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Well, the paint's too clogged. Like, you can't have Russell and LeBron and
That's what I'm saying.
Davis.
The ball's too dominant.
The paint's too clogged. I mean, everyone's going to the paint.
I mean,
everyone's driving.
Says Rondo or Kyrie would be better than. I mean, Kyrie's still going to drive. You know,
Kyrie can shoot at a high clip
and pass. More importantly, right? I mean,
but they still need, like, Russell had one of his worst shooting years he's had in his career, realistically. You need someone who can shoot, especially at the point guard position, because just a guy who can drive, you have that already, right? You have Anthony Davis in the paint already. He can shoot somewhat, but not extremely high clip. But LeBron James, one of the best drivers we've seen in basketball, you don't need that at point guard. You need a facilitator and a guy who can shoot at a high clip, especially from the outside.
That's exactly right. I mean, even as crazy as it sounds, I can name 3 or 4 other point guards that are somebody taking the ball up that I would trust rather than having Westbrook do it with LeBron in the game. Again, it's like oil and water, man. It just doesn't mix to me. It doesn't vibe. But let's get a little more.
All right. We wanted to talk about this yesterday, but Tony Mitchell, the 5-star DB, commits to Alabama. They got another one.
Surprised.
Yeah, wait.
I know this isn't news.
Wait, did the day end in Y? Again, the rich get richer. Their name should be Richard. Tony Mitchell, a guy that, had gone to a lot of places. There were Auburn fans that felt good. There were, other teams' fans that felt good. But look, it's a business decision right now, and business at Bama's booming. I mean, Tony Mitchell, it'd be hard for me, and you understand the fandom in you and the fans being upset about it. But if I had my kid right now and he had a chance to do that, it'd be really hard for me to tell him no. He'd be like, Dad, I want to commit to Alabama on scholarship. How am I supposed to look him in the eyes and be like, that's a bad business decision, son? Again, it's until you knock these top teams off the mantle. And Tony Mitchell's great, 5-star corner, and corners are great, but I'll beat the dead horse again. That's not the reason Alabama and Georgia and them are dominant. It's because of the offensive tackles, the guards, the center, the 3-tech, the nose, the
helps.
5.
It helps.
It helps. It
Your
helps.
story about not telling your kid, that reminds me, who was the DB? I want to say it was Clinton Dix, whose mom wanted him to go to LSU.
Walked off.
Walked off. Was it
I couldn't believe that one.
Yeah,
I couldn't either. He commits to Alabama, and she walks off and says he should have gone to LSU.
I can never imagine.
Part of me thinks it's staged. Part of me just thinks there's no way that somebody could be that way. But I guess she was. She not complaining now because he's Clinton Dixon all the way to Wells Fargo.
Yeah. He's in the league.
Yeah. I'd be like, you know what? Then you get no money. Yeah. How about that?
Wow.
How about you play? How about you?
I would have been like,
cold-blooded.
in the background.
You see your dad? His dad was like,
great decision, son. Yeah. Great decision.
His dad was like, you know what? It'll be me and you, son. Your mother, listen. Yeah. We're having problems. Okay.
Last one, we were talking about different conferences. Brett Yormark, currently the co-CEO of Jay-Z's Rock Nation, is going to be the new Big 12 commissioner.
This is, to me, this is a smart move, but it smells a little desperate. It smells a little desperate. So? The reason, this guy spent 15 years at Barclays, okay? It was until he went over to Rock Nation, I think in 2019, then he was promoted this past January. This is a true connections move. Again, you look at this guy's background, and the Big 12 to me is trying to turn themselves into the swaggiest conference. You don't align yourself with a company that's aligned with Jay-Z because you're going to go out there in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat and talk about the farm. They're going to try and make the Big 12, now that Texas and Oklahoma's gone, into some cool, new, fresh, swagged out conference. Think of the cities. Think of the cities that are going there. Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Houston?
Yep.
Come on, now BYU, that's a little bit different. That's a little bit different. But to me, this is
Orlando now too.
Orlando,
is that right?
Orlando. Yeah. This is a money connection move, and I like it. But I don't think this move is made if Texas and Oklahoma aren't leaving. I don't think they make this move if Texas and Oklahoma aren't leaving.
You have to do something, man.
You have to do something because they're looking at the money. Because it all comes down to money. They're looking at the money and making a decision off that. And they're like, how about we go make a splash and let's try and, Febreze Brothers, fresh start in here for the Big 12.
I mean, it was bad enough when Nebraska and Texas A&M left.
I know.
Now you lose the two biggest ones, Texas and Oklahoma.
It's. I can see why they're doing it. And you want to talk about going from one end of the spectrum to the other? Yeah. You go from Bob Bowlesby to this guy? I mean, that's like going from a wagon to a F1 car.
That's all I got for rapid fire.
All right, Blake,
let's go to the chat. Let's go to the chat. We got some good stuff rolling in here, all right? We're going to start with Mike first, all right?
Mikey.
Speaking of Westbrook, which NBA player has the most entertaining in-game dunk highlights?
Like current? Did he say current?
He didn't say current.
Because if it's not current, you can give me Vince Carter or John Morant. I'd say current.
I'd say Blake Griffin. The things Blake Griffin, oh, God.
Well, more than Vince Carter?
Blake Griffin did, I remember when it came out, the two dunks he had. I actually watched these the other day. I go through clips sometimes.
But he was at Oklahoma, too.
He was, throwing the ball into the goal, 9 feet in the air, just throwing. You know how high you have to jump to be able to throw the ball? And the kid just absolutely posterizing kids. Old Blake Griffin used to destroy kids dunking. John Morant's cold, Vince Carter's cold. But if it's me, you want king highlights, either that or the DeAndre Jordan dunk when they just did, I can't remember.
I mean, we could make it easy and talk about LeBron or Michael Jordan, but that's lame, and I don't want to do that.
Carter jumped over a 7-foot.
Yes, but again, Vince Carter's what, 6'6"?
Mm-hmm.
Blake Griffin's what?
6'8".
6'8"?
6'8".
Ja Morant 6'2" out there jumping from the free throw line and putting his huggies. Putting his huggies.
I watched Nate Robinson dunk on Yao Ming.
Yeah, but again, Ja Morant.
What is that? What does that even mean?
Well, to me, Ja Morant is doing it while dropping 40 points. Like he's doing it in like clutch moments. But Ja Morant, when he dunks over somebody, it's just the perfect poster move. Like I said, he's dropping his huggies on their teeth. It's different when Ja Morant is over there taking photos of you while he's on top of you.
He floats,
this
man.
dude, he doesn't just dunk it. He cocks this thing back about as far as you can cock it back. And when he brings the thunder, you'd have thought Thor just came into town. The sky was...
He's Derrick Rose. That's what he is. Emmanuel C. # Ask Crane and Company. Is David Shaw on the hot seat for Stanford? If Brian Kelly could work with academic restrictions with Notre Dame, then what's stopping David Shaw with Stanford?
I love this question. There is not enough heat on David Shaw. And I know David Shaw's a good guy, and he's a good coach. But people act like he's this savant because he coaches at Stanford and they won a couple games. The heat needs to start turning up on David Shaw a little bit because nobody talks about it. And I could probably guess why, but it just shocks me that even though there are restrictions there, okay, Vanderbilt's a little different story. We've seen what Notre Dame's done. Look at what Wake Forest is doing. So it's not impossible to have academic restrictions and have success. And we're not saying Stanford's got to win the Pac-12 every year. Nobody's saying that. But I remember Stanford with Toby Gerhardt and like guys that when you played them, I mean, it was for real. Like Stanford was for real. You look at them now and they're just meh. They're just, just normal mashed potatoes. Not even any butter in it, not even any pepper, any salt. You just got a bunch of potatoes, beat them up with your fists and put them on my plate. David Shaw, you got to be better.
Like mashed potatoes, no butter or pepper. I'm out.
Even Jim Harbaugh had success there.
Exactly.
He did. That's
a great point.
All right, Jay Hudson Reflections. What's up, Huddy?
I'm not taking shots.
What's up? He said, # Ask Crane and Co. Strap up, boys. This one's got a little meat to it. All right. Magic, LBJ, Kobe, Shaq, and Kareem versus Hakeem, Duncan, Bird, MJ, and Curry. Who you guys taking in a 7-game series and in how many games? Laker greats versus non-Laker greats.
I'm taking non-Laker greats in 5 games.
Read off the non-Laker greats. You got
Hakeem, Duncan, Bird, MJ, Curry.
Yeah.
Versus Magic, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, and Kareem.
Nah.
I might take the Lakers. I might take the Lakers.
Let's be honest.
You put Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, and Steph Curry on the same team, and it's going to be raining arrows like 300 in Hell's Gates.
You still got Magic, LeBron, Kobe, and Shaq on the same team.
Yeah, but Tim Duncan, first, you look at Tim Duncan could make an argument for having, in the modern era, like the best winning. I think he went
for sure.
Like 5.
A lot of people take Tim Duncan over
like
Shaq.
4 of them.
He won 5.
Won 5, and like his numbers he's
Shaq.
averaging is ridiculous. I like that question, Huddy. But let's get to what I cannot wait to get to. I've been excited since my eyes opened this morning. I chose violence. The top 5 college football quarterbacks. Now, if you're in the chat right now on the Booster Club, tell us your top 5. Comment below. Tell us your top 5. May pick one of those and send you some merch. So we'll start with mine, and we have to understand when I'm making my list, I'll tell you my criteria. Okay, because we're everybody's everybody. I'm going off talent and your team. Because to me, I'm not going to call you a top quarterback and your team goes 6-6. I'm just not doing it. May work out in the NFL. May have a situation where you go be a better NFL player. But this is the best college quarterback to me that has a chance to do something special. Number 1, surprise, surprise. Last year's Heisman winner, Bryce Young. Okay, I got him number 1, even though I don't think he wins the Heisman this year. 2, C.J. Stroud at Ohio State. Got him, the guys that finished 1-2 last year. I do think C.J. Stroud wins the Heisman this year.
Ooh.
I think they swap places. 3, this is where it got a little weird for me. Y'all know how high I am on KJ Jefferson. Yeah. I think he's going to have a huge year. I think Arkansas is going to have a huge year. But I'm going to go with Hooker at 3. Give me Hendon Hooker from Tennessee.
Hendon Hooker.
In that offense and that system coming back, He understands how to operate it. He understands the communication. And boy, did he get better and better and better and better as the season went. Remember, the Milton kid came in and he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a helicopter in the ocean. So they put in Hendon Hooker, the Virginia Tech transfer. The kid can run, and I love the way he operates the system, and there's a lot of momentum with Tennessee right now. That's why I got him at 3. KJ at 4. Arkansas brings back both coordinators, including Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator. So there's the ability to understand what's going on. There's no learning curve. When there's no learning curve between a quarterback and an offensive coordinator, that is huge because it turns the quarterback into the other offensive coordinator. Now he can bring guys up to speed even quicker when there's nothing lost in between the two. That's a huge part we don't see, but I love KJ Jefferson coming back. I know they lost Treylon Burks, but Arkansas is recruited at a high level, and I love the culture at Arkansas. I think they're breeding winners over there. And then 5. I was going to go Bo Nix. Because I think he's on a redemption tour, and he's not playing in the SEC anymore. And it's not Auburn, so they have people that can play receiver. But Caleb Williams, for one of the same reasons that I talked about KJ Jefferson, Hendon Hooker, CJ Stroud, and Bryce Young. Caleb Williams has no learning curve. He's one of the few players that transferred schools and doesn't have to learn really anything new. His offensive coordinator, the offensive communication, goes through Lincoln Riley, buddy. So you're going from the same system to the same system, and now you got more weapons around you. Mario Williams coming in, Jordan Addison. If USC can be good up front in a Pac-12 that's not very strong, they could make some noise. I still worry about the depth up front on both sides of the ball, but Caleb Williams has a lot of witch in him. He's dual threat. What do you notice about all these guys? What's one thing they have in common? They all can run. Even KJ, he's not the fastest, but he's effective as hell running the ball. And if you're in front of him, he'll turn you into Wile E. Coyote when the Roadrunner drop an anvil on him when he's crossing underneath the canyon. So those are my top 5. Bryce, CJ, Hendon, KJ, and Caleb. It sounds like a boy band out of Britain.
All right, bring my list up. Hendon Hooker and KJ Jefferson, I think, can make strong arguments for top 10, but I do not have them in the top 5. Number 1, quarterback returning in college football, we have to put Bryce Young. When you win the Heisman Trophy and you return, you have to be number 1 or else it's just disrespectful. But I think that C.J. Stroud is neck and neck. I think of this more as a 1A, 1B than a number 1 and a number 2. When you look at completion percentage, I guess I need to set my criteria too. I'm looking at completion percentage, and I'm big on touchdown to interception ratio as well. So you throw 50 touchdowns, but you throw 25 picks. That's not, as great as 40 touchdowns.
Basically broke even.
Yeah, essentially. But so Bryce Young, number 1. C.J. Stroud, number 2. C.J. Stroud had a 72% completion percentage. Bryce Young had 67% last season. I think both of them will have unbelievable years. But you calling C.J. Stroud the Heisman Trophy winner, I like it, man. I was kind of getting on board with that, too.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You had
because what's crazy about these first 2 is that they're both on redemption tours in some way. But the only difference is, remember, Alabama lost the national championship game to Georgia. CJ didn't win the Heisman, and Ohio State didn't even play for the Natty. So to me, and they lost to Michigan.
Yeah, so let's hope that CJ doesn't complete his redemption tour, but I still think he'll do quite well. All right, and then I have Caleb Williams higher than you guys. I have Caleb Williams at 3. Not so much because he put up a lot of numbers last year, didn't start a whole lot of games, but just off the pure athletic ability and what he can do from the pocket and when he breaks the pocket. I think, if you want to talk about a Heisman long shot, I think you have to look at Caleb Williams. So I have him 3. And then 4, 5 is really where we depart. I have Will Rogers.
I like this pick.
State, man. I'm telling you, I was looking at it. I have to put him at 4. Look, he threw for 4,700 yards, and that's unbelievable. You're going to throw for a lot of yards in a Mike Leach air raid offense. But 36 TDs, 9 picks, 74% completion percentage. Will Rogers went 505 for 683 last season. He completed 500 passes.
Making the right decision.
Incredible. So I don't think Mississippi State is going to have a great year, but I think Will Rogers has a great year. And then at 5, boys, I have Devin Leary from NC State. Again, here's some of his numbers. He threw for 3,400 yards, not the most in the ACC, but 35 TDs, 5 picks, and 66% completion percentage. I think you could make a case that the ACC has 4, maybe 5 of the top 15 quarterbacks in the country when you look at Wake Forest, when you look at what Miami's returning with the Van Dyke kid, right? So I have Devin Leary at number 5, and I think NC State has a fantastic season.
I love Will Rogers at 4, and I can't argue with Devin at 5. Will, again, I got A&M losing at Mississippi State in the second SEC game they played. Because, again, I've got numbers that I'm going to drop on Mike Leach. He always does this around the same time of year, so that's coming. You'll see.
All right, bring up my 5. My criteria was I just watched them play. All right, my first one.
So now you're big on eye testing.
Now I've never not been big on the eye. I don't know how this.
Give Michael Jordan the eye test, please.
I don't know how. Michael Jordan passes the eye test. I never said he did.
It was rude of me to interrupt you. I apologize.
But did you know that LeBron James passed Michael Jordan in scoring with 1,200 less shots?
So now we're back on scoring
My bad.
list.
You brought it up. My bad. All right.
But tell me about your eye test here.
You're right. Right. First one, Bryce Young. Surprise, surprise. We all know he's the best quarterback. I don't think it's that close. C.J. Stroud. Okay, this is my thing with C.J. Extremely good. I don't think he'll have a great NFL career. I really don't.
That's not what we're talking
about. I know. But I'm just saying he's probably the second best in college football right now. I think Ryan Day has a lot to do with that. Number 3 to me, Hendon Hooker. I think Hendon Hooker is a dog. He's an absolute savage. And only going to get better in Heupel's system. You might have lost Velus Jones Jr. running back, but receiver, But Heupel does a good job replacing those guys. And that system just basically runs itself as like the Walmart. Caleb Williams. I mean, you ever seen that South Park?
No, that's hilarious.
Okay, I don't know. You probably haven't seen it, but Caleb Williams, I mean, it's only going to get easier.
I probably hadn't seen it.
You're going to the Pac-12. You get Jordan Addison. You still have Lincoln. I mean, you did have a lot of struggles last year somewhat in reading coverage, especially the safeties, but I feel like that gets fixed. But number 5 for me, it's old Sammy Hartman with Wake Forest. I don't know a guy really better who's in rhythm, who's better than Sam in rhythm. I mean, you look at it, let me look at Sam right here. I mean, he threw for 4,300 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. That's pretty good. And I think Sam will have a great NFL career, but I think Sam's going to be sneaky. He might sneak up to the top 4 and maybe a dark horse.
Oh,
for Heisman.
Is he focused?
He's having fun. Either that or Brock Bowers. Watch out for him.
Yeah, we did talk about the other day. The cool thing about Wake Forest and what Clausen and them do is that delayed zone read.
It works.
It's just the timing's weird. It's like getting a pitch where you don't understand the timing. Like it's delayed enough to where everybody's kind of frozen for a second, and then they'll pop it. It'll squirt out of one side, or he'll bring it up. They'll hit a tight end in the seam, or he'll spit it out. Whatever. If they're running a little stick or something.
What was close? I want to know who was close for y'all in top 5. Who's y'all?
I have a list of over a dozen quarterbacks here that I was thinking either in July or the beginning of August, we need to do like an entire breakdown of like the top 20 or 25. Because I'm looking at Will Levis, Cam Rising, Brennan Armstrong, Taylor Van Dyke. I mean, Dylan Gabriel. Yep. Malik Cunningham, Louisville.
Jay Kaner, Fresno State.
Brennan Armstrong, Virginia.
Aiden O'Connell with Purdue. Like this is a great quarterback.
It
class,
is. Like you know how this past class really wasn't. This one, and coming for the next 2 or 3 years, there are going to be some studs that come out. The Van Dyke kid from Miami's nice, man.
So a lot of people have him top 5, actually.
And
this is without even mentioning any of the the USC guys who transferred, like Jackson Dart or Slovis or even JT Daniels.
Yep.
Like,
does Cam Rising get enough love, guys? Does he get enough love?
I don't have him beat in Florida, but I think Cam Rising is a good player. Now, do I think he's the end-all, be-all? No, I don't. But I definitely see him in the top 10.
Will Levis
top 12 for me. I'd put Will Levis
do some more through the air, I think.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm going to see how he does without Wan'Dale Robinson, because Wan'Dale made a lot of people look right a lot last year. But I'm going to head over the board of equality.
Nah, let's stay over here.
No.
Let's not go over there today.
Trust.
Let's just stay over here.
Deceit.
Forgiveness.
Receipts.
you got to see the board.
But also forgiveness.
And remembrance.
Maybe a mailbag question? A couple mailbag questions? Up, Coney?
Let's do a mailbag
we're timing
question.
this thing up. Perfect.
Mailbag question from Brian Bailey. Hey, guys, thanks for making sports fun again. There seems to be a theme here.
Yep.
There seems to be a theme here, and I like to hear it. Although I disagree with your points on the Huskers, which I'm not sure what he's alluding to. Because
Okay, question over. No.
Question over. I'll wait for their first winning season in the next 20 years to say I told you so.
Let's go through the schedule.
Saw your cameo on Matt Walsh's interpretive dance video. Is there a budding bromance? ? When does Matt become a permanent member of Crane & Co.?
Well, it's like Entourage, kind of. Like if you ever watch Entourage, that's kind of like how it's like. But no, watching Matt break it down and dance and interpreting, I could interpret what he was dancing, the emotion that he was going with. I was really proud for him. A lot more flexible than I thought.
So we're gonna tweet out the interpretive dance video because his team has now sent it over to us. But if you haven't seen the Matt Walsh basketball video promo that he did with us, you have to go check it out. Yeah. It's on our YouTube and on social media.
Hey, I have UConn's schedule pulled up. Do you want to do this?
UConn's?
He was talking about the Huskies, wasn't he?
No, Huskers. Nebraska.
You don't want UConn fans.
No. We won't pull them up.
UConn fans don't want to do this.
Come on, let's go through it. Let's really find out.
They're just glad the Kevin Ollie situation's over for basketball. That's what they're happy with. All right, y'all ready to go?
Yeah,
So
because we've done Nebraska schedule.
Yeah,
we're getting toward the end of the month. Okay, guys? So we all know what happens. Got to pick a winner at the end of the month. You know, maybe the Athletic Greens. Who's in the green? God, I just come up with just bangers 24/7.
Super humble. Super humble.
Who's in the green? You like that? Or
I
how
like
athletic
that.
is your green? Mine is. My wallet.
in the
can run.
green?
So I'm 21-25 on the month, minus 1 unit. I'm chasing Baby Cone. We shouldn't have made your son eligible to win the month. I blame myself.
Is he eligible?
Yes, we gave him 2 picks.
Oh,
He's
You're
gonna
have
win.
to hold him up like Simba.
He's gonna win.
Oh, he's gonna win for
He's
sure.
gonna win.
He may
Please.
never lose a month.
Baby Cone, please win the
No,
month. I do
Blaine,
terrible.
don't do that.
Come on, Baby Cone. Come on.
So here's where I'm going with. I know that I need to make the units jump to help me catch up in the wins. So what I'm doing is
Luck.
I'm relying on one team
Luck.
and one prop. And when the chips are down and the times are tough and you don't know which way to look, left, right, up, or down, you go home. And I'm going home to the Braves. Austin Riley, home run tonight, plus 480.
Wow.
Look, Austin, I played third. You played third. You hit tanks left and right. Come on, I need you tonight. Together we can. Just remember that. Together we can. When you're up there, I'm right up there with you. And I know you're going to watch this and think about that.
Stay back on the slider. Stay back on the slider.
Yeah, we're going to throw you a slider first pitch. It's going to start in the middle and break.
Yeah, it's off speed.
Keep your hands
He's gonna
back.
swing at it.
Yeah,
That's what he does.
Call him off-speed Riley. Second one, Braves money line, plus 100. Because, again, I'm going home, y'all.
Who they got?
It doesn't even matter.
Let me pull it up.
It doesn't even matter. Like, at this point, it doesn't even matter. I'm going with them. For some reason, I want to say it's the Pirates.
That was a.
No, I got the Phillies.
Oh, that's
At
right, the
the
Phillies.
Phillies.
That's right.
At the
Good.
Phillies.
Good. Bryce, thumbs up, buddy. What do you got, Cone?
All right, boys. Here's what I've got tonight. Got to go Major League Baseball. I want the Cards first 5. I'll take the minus a half run at plus 100. All right, because I'm still trying to hit some picks here. I'm not out of this thing. Don't just give it to Baby Cone over there, Blaine. Then Dodgers first 5 minus a half run at minus 135. Clayton Kershaw on the mound. I'll take that.
Cone, I really need you to miss both these.
Why is that?
So what is it right now?
You need me to miss
So
both
it's
these?
Baby
Remember
Cone
we used
20
to pull for each other?
25.
Fun.
That was all a lie. That was all a lie. No one was pulling for each other. Deep down,
No, I saw him get on all fours. I saw him get on all fours in the apartment where I had a hockey pick with an empty netter at the end. And he just exploded with happiness.
No, we're all happy when it happens, but when we get back here and look at it, we're like, oh man, I kind of wish you would have lost.
Cone, I'm going to be honest. I didn't know which story you were telling. So when that started out like that, I got a little.
So we're 21 and 25. All right.
PG.
Cone 22, 24, 25, and 17. All not in positive. Baby Cone's in positive units.
Baby Cone's, yeah.
What is he in positive? Do we know?
Baby Cone is I want to say
Plus
he's like
4?
4 units up.
So he's
at
29 and 17
He's
right
at
now.
29. So if I can get 2 dubs.
Come on,
Get
baby.
2 dubs
Cone.
here at the end and hit plus 480 and plus 100 and go up, that'll be what? Like almost 6 units.
Yeah, good luck. You
Yeah.
know, good luck. I tried
that's
that.
the strategy.
Didn't work.
And
you
Baby
know?
Cone tonight, he's got the Cubs first 5 minus a half at plus 125, and he's also got the Mets money line. Baby Cone picked the Mets, huh?
Did he?
Yeah, I guess he did.
Yeah, I guess
he's
so.
picking them for sure.
All right, here we go.
It's gonna
hit
be
that
a fist
button,
fight.
David. Hit that button.
It's going to
for
be a
me.
fist fight at the end of the
I know
month.
which button.
It's going to be an absolute fist fight.
Let's go to Blaine's bets. All right. I'm taking the Giants, and I love how Stamkos scored that first goal the other day. Thanks, buddy. Give me the Giants minus 200 against the Tigers. They'll definitely lose. Give me the Dodgers first 5. Result. It's not a money line. It's a result bet, so they have to be leading in the first 5.
Why can't you just say minus a half?
You're taking the Dodgers?
Result.
I want to change mine now if you're taking them.
I changed mine the other day. The Nerfy and lost.
I did too.
Oh, okay, good.
On the
That makes me
Nerfy.
feel better. But I'm taking the Dodgers first 5 so I can watch Clayton Kershaw get destroyed in the first 3 innings.
Nah, he's gonna
Hashtag can't wait. Having a great time.
What is it? 11, 34, and 1. It's like DJ Ukulele.
I want everybody to know this, though.
Here we go.
A couple of weeks ago, I made up my mind that I was just going to have to play for the units.
Yeah.
All right. And I bet insane things that didn't hit. So that's why the record is the way it is.
I don't know. Like 30.
But I do approach it. I'm 0-0 once the next month starts.
All right, I got these. Booster Club, here we go. Private Chonky's 2-0. Cubs Reds under 9 runs. Husky Cookie 2-0. Zach Wheeler over 6.5 Ks. Bracket Dom 2-0. Alissimo minus 1.5 sets. I'm guessing that's Wimbledon there, Cone. Tall Riot's 2-0. He wants the Cardinals money line. EJ Runis is also 2-0. A lot of 2-0. Aaron Judge to have at least 2 hits at plus 230. Ooh, I like those odds. Buckhorn Dave, 1-0. Yankees money line. Dinkin Flicka, 27, 1-0. Giants money line. Jay Perkins, 13, 0-0. Braves to score first. Got a new Boost Club member, Terrell, 459. Must be the old, younger brother of Terrell, 458. His 0-0 Guardians money line, minus 102. They're playing the Twins. And then Cone's arch nemesis, outside of replacement Cone. Whoever burned the Squirtle is 0-4, and he wants the Cubs-Reds over. He wants the Cubs and Reds to score a run in the first. So opposite of Nerfy.
Gotcha.
So I guess that'd be Surfy.
Surfy. Score run first.
Yeah, I think that's somewhere around there. That's close. But hey, parting thoughts real quick?
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to talk to you, what did we feel about Freddie Freeman pick? I got a poll out too, but what did the Freddie Freeman
of him sitting in the dugout?
I believe he fired his...
He fired his representation. Freddie went back home and got sad.
Should have went to the Yankees, dog.
No.
Should have went to the Yankees, Freddie.
No, it's not that.
You'd have been reading with art. You would have felt love.
It's about home.
We'd have loved you, Freddie.
No.
Yeah, you'd have been up with the guys, high-fiving with Aaron Judge. Now he's got to hang around like...
No, it doesn't matter. It was the Braves or nowhere else.
He's from California. How was New York going to solve that problem?
Because it feels like home when you get there.
No, it doesn't. You've never been.
You get greeted.
You've never been.
You're always remembered. It feels like home. Out there doesn't feel like home.
You're going to miss this.
It doesn't feel like home.
You're going to want this back. That's what he was saying when he was sitting.
It's not getting it back. All right, poll.
This is what I'm saying. Freddie Freeman was super duper sad. He went back and realized what had happened. He was so mad that he fired his agent after it went down. You want to know how mad you have to be to fire somebody that just signed a deal
that was the reason.
To make a ton of money, millions of dollars? Yes, it's the reason. The dude walked in the media room, and you'd have thought they just found his pet rabbit suffocated in its rabbit terrarium or rabbit arena. I don't know what you call it.
All right, poll.
Freddie Freeman was sad.
Poll.
Rabbit
arena.
You're right.
I think that's for
You're right, but wrong, but right. Should the MLB allow one-on-one fights in baseball?
You need to.
That's the poll.
That's the poll.
I'm gonna
do a segment about this, but should they allow one-on-one? Here's the clip.
All right, let's just run it. This has to happen. Let's run the clip. This is the fight we talked about yesterday, but now we got the clip.
You did it on purpose.
You hit Jesse Winker.
You think the manager told him to do that?
Heck yes, the manager told him to do that. Again, I'll say it. Somebody said something bad. All right, now, quick question. You know what? I want to save that. I want to save that and do a segment on it because I'm going to ask you guys what would have had to be said to make you react like that. Because to me, like Winker's going over there like a heat-seeking missile, ready to find somebody to pay the price. This is an actual fight, and I'm so for it. Blaine, you got to give your idea of making the 7th inning stretch great again.
Yeah, it's not the 7th.
Not yet. Oh. Tomorrow on the show, it's going to be a segment. But what's the answer to the poll?
Guess.
Yes, 74%.
Saw it.
I did not.
On should Major League Baseball allow more fighting? Yeah, 74?
Say 74. You can agree with them.
No, yes, 73. It went down.
Yes, 74%.
I promise you.
I know you saw it. I saw you see it. Okay?
I did not.
No one gets that right on the dot.
I did.
No one gets that right on the dot.
I did.
Yes, it's 75% now, but you still. 75%. So, hey, I feel like people.
You know how I feel about that? I feel this about it.
Over the line!
That was over the line.
You want to sell tickets? You want people to watch baseball? Have them fight each other in the 7th.
Hey, look, a lot of people on social media agree with it. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you're following us. Make sure you're subscribed on Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. Got a great week of content coming for you, and football season's getting a little closer. And like the odds of Austin Riley, I'm gonna try and not jinx myself here, hitting a home run tonight. We're gone. There.